Hello and welcome to your channel, Bienestar. I'm glad you're here. This is the place where we talk about health, longevity, and simple natural habits that help you maintain physical, mental, and emotional balance. In this video, I want to share something truly important with you, something that can transform your day-to-day well-being. Today on Bienestar, ask yourself, do you see blurry? Because the problem is not in your eyes, but in your brain. Have you grown tired of noticing your vision getting blurrier even after changing your glasses again and again? This is one of the most common complaints I hear in my practice. Maybe you already visited an eye specialist, had your prescription adjusted, even invested in high-quality lenses. And still, the clarity you expected simply doesn't return. Letters blend together on the page, distant faces lose definition, and your confidence when driving at night starts to fade. Millions of adults over 60 believe their eyesight problems come only from their eyes, as if it were an unavoidable part of aging. But I want you to consider something different. What if, in many cases, the real cause isn't in your eyes at all, but here, in your brain? I'm Dr. Gabriel Mina, and after more than 2 decades helping patients navigate healthy aging, this is a topic I am deeply passionate about. Take a moment to reflect with me. Your eyes work like extraordinary cameras, capable of capturing light, texture, and detail with surprising precision. But if the processor that interprets those images, your brain, is tired, overloaded, or poorly nourished, the final image you perceive will be dull, slow, or out of focus. In the next few minutes, I'll explain not only why your brain plays a key role in restoring clearer vision, but also how a particular seed and certain habits can strengthen that lost connection. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn may literally change the way you see the world. Blurry vision is not just an inconvenience. You know that well. It becomes an invisible barrier between you and the people or activities you love most. It's that moment when reading a story to your grandchildren becomes harder, or when walking through an unfamiliar place feels unsafe because street signs seem unclear. It can also bring sadness, like when someone greets you from afar and you can't recognize them until they're right in front of you. And the explanation people usually receive is always the same. It's your eyes, it's your age. And yes, there's some truth to that. As we get older, our eyes change. Presbyopia forces us to extend the newspaper to focus. Cataracts cloud the lens, as if we were looking through frosted glass. And macular degeneration affects the center of the retina, making straight lines appear wavy. These are real, physical conditions inside the eye, usually diagnosed and treated with glasses, surgery, or other procedures. But here is where things get truly interesting, and where traditional medicine sometimes falls short. What happens when you're told, your eyes look normal for your age? Or when, even after successful cataract surgery or investing in expensive lenses, you still feel something isn't right? What if clarity comes and goes? What if your vision worsens when your mind is tired, or when you feel your brain simply cannot keep up? This is exactly what thousands of people experience. They go from doctor to doctor, change their glasses believing the prescription must be wrong, and the frustration keeps growing. Many start to think they're imagining it or losing their sanity. But they're not. And neither are you. What you're experiencing is the other half of the visual equation. The half that has been ignored for far too long. The half that isn't in the lens or the retina, but in the millions of neurons that make up the visual cortex. Because vision is not a passive act of the eyes, it is an active, energy-demanding process. And that process happens primarily in your brain. Think of it as a team of two. The eye gathers information, light, shapes, colors. But the brain is the analyst. It interprets the data, gives meaning to what you see, recognizes loved ones' faces, calculates distance so you can pick up a cup without spilling it, and anticipates movement when crossing the street. You could say that what you call seeing depends almost entirely on the brain. And if that analyst is exhausted, slow, or running on poor fuel, it doesn't matter how good the raw information is. The final image you perceive will be blurry. I remember the case of Laura, a patient who came to my clinic convinced she needed to change her glasses for the 5th time in a year. But after a deeper evaluation, we discovered that her problem wasn't her prescription. It was cognitive fatigue caused by stress and habits that were weakening her visual cortex. When we addressed that, her visual clarity improved far more than she expected. Before we continue with the explanation, let me take a moment to tell you something important. If this kind of content helps you understand your health better, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video. We publish new content here every day, and it may be exactly what you or someone close to you needs. Now, let's move forward. Let's use an analogy. Imagine your eye as a high-resolution camera capable of recording in 8K. It captures tiny details with incredible precision. That information travels through a fast cable, your optic nerve, and reaches a highly sophisticated editing room, your brain. There, an expert editor, the visual cortex, processes everything at remarkable speed. This editor takes millions of pixels, compares them to a vast memory library, adjusts contrast, identifies what matters, and filters out what doesn't. All of this happens in fractions of a second, so quickly that you don't even notice. But as we age, it's not only the camera that begins to show signs of wear. The lens can become cloudy due to cataracts. The retina, which functions like a sensor, can deteriorate because of macular degeneration. That affects the quality of the original image, yes, but here's something we often overlook. The editor ages too. That editing room, which once worked with youthful efficiency, begins to slow down. The processor overheats more easily. The memory library responds more slowly. The editor becomes tired. And that brain aging shows up in your vision in ways you might not recognize at first. One of these signs is a decrease in processing speed. It's as if your editor needs a little more time to interpret each frame. That's when you feel a sense of delay or mismatch. It's when the world seems to move faster than your brain can register. You notice it especially while driving or watching sports. You see the object, but your brain takes longer to interpret it, so you perceive it as a blurry trail. Another sign is difficulty filtering information. Your brain is a master at highlighting what matters and blocking out what doesn't. In a noisy room, it allows you to focus on one conversation. Visually, it does the same. It helps you read one line while ignoring the others. But with age, that ability weakens. Suddenly, everything competes for your attention. You try to read a word and the surrounding ones interfere, creating visual chaos. There is also slower visual memory. Recognizing something always involves remembering. You know you're looking at an apple because your brain quickly retrieves the matching file from its internal archive. If that access slows down, there is a moment of doubt. During that instant, what you see becomes unclear or blurry until your brain finally identifies it. And then there is neural fatigue. High-definition vision requires a great deal of energy. It consumes glucose, oxygen, hydration. When you're stressed, dehydrated, or exhausted, your brain switches to a low-energy mode, and one of the first processes it reduces is visual processing. That's why your vision worsens at the end of a heavy day. It's not your eyes that are tired, it's your brain that no longer has enough battery to keep editing in 8K. Here's where a crucial piece comes in, one that many people don't know. If you've been evaluated for blurry vision and no clear cause is found in your eyes, or if your new glasses don't help at all, it's time to consider neurological causes. Because that unexplained, blurry vision may be a signal that your brain is asking for help. Of course, you should always rule out any serious medical condition with a specialist first. But if everything is in order, the next step is to look toward the brain. And here's the encouraging part. This organ has an extraordinary ability to adapt and repair itself even at advanced ages. We call that neuroplasticity, and we can activate it. We can give that brain editor the energy, nutrients, and tools it needs to regain its speed and precision. You are not destined to live with that dim, unfocused vision. You are very close to discovering how to nourish your brain so clarity can return to your life. Now that we understand that vision isn't just the work of the eye, but a joint effort between the eye and the brain, I want to take you to a key point: the nutrition that strengthens that connection. Because if we want that editor to work at its best, we must give it the right fuel. But before I show you the main seed, you need to understand why this eye-brain connection is so powerful. The retina, that layer of cells at the back of the eye, isn't simply an ocular tissue as many believe. It is literally an extension of the brain projected outward. That's why when I examine the back of the eye in my practice, I'm looking directly at part of the central nervous system. This has profound implications. Everything that benefits the brain benefits the eyes, and everything that harms the brain harms your vision as well. Inflammation, oxidative stress, nutrient deficiencies, all of it affects both equally. For many years, people only talked about nutrients like vitamin A, but today science shows us a much broader picture. We now know that certain compounds have an extraordinary affinity for both the retina and the brain. Among them, omega-3 fatty acids stand out, especially DHA. Think of these compounds as high-quality building blocks forming the walls of your neurons and the cells responsible for capturing light. Without enough DHA, those walls become rigid and communication between cells slows down. Antioxidants such as carotenoids, lutein, and zeaxanthin act like internal sunglasses that accumulate in the retina to block harmful blue light. I remember the case of Ernesto, a patient who was worried because, even though his eyes seemed fine, he felt his vision became more sluggish at the end of the day. When we reviewed his diet and noticed significant deficiencies in omega-3s and antioxidants, we made simple adjustments. Within a few weeks, his focusing ability and visual endurance improved noticeably. And something truly interesting begins to happen. These nutrients don't just accumulate in the retina, they also concentrate in the brain. And science is clear, the more lutein present in the system, the better processes like memory, mental agility, and the speed at which we interpret what we see work. Polyphenol and other antioxidants act like a maintenance team, fighting internal deterioration, that cellular rust that appears with aging and stress. Because the brain consumes an enormous amount of energy, it produces a significant amount of oxidative stress, which means it needs constant support. And here comes something truly revealing. If I had to choose only one food, one seed with remarkable protective power, it would be chia seeds. This is not an exaggeration. This tiny seed, once used by civilizations like the Aztecs and the Mayans for stamina and vitality, is a true nutritional powerhouse. What really matters for this topic is that chia is one of the richest plant-based sources of a type of omega-3 called alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. ALA works as a precursor to the most important omega-3 fatty acids. In your body, ALA can convert into the omega-3s your brain and retina value the most, like DHA. Now, I want to be completely transparent and scientifically precise. The human body does not convert ALA to DHA very efficiently. The conversion rate can be as low as 1% to 9%. It is heavily influenced by your genetics, your diet, and other factors. So, if the conversion is limited, why is chia still so valuable? First, because it provides the base material. Without ALA, your body has nothing to start with. It is the first building block. Second, chia offers more than omega-3s. It contains a remarkable amount of soluble fiber, which helps maintain stable blood sugar levels. Sugar spikes damage the tiny blood vessels that nourish the retina and the brain. Third, chia contains antioxidants that fight the cellular stress we have been discussing. And the best part is that it is incredibly easy to use. No complicated cooking. With just 1 or 2 tablespoons a day, you can start noticing a difference. For me, chia has become the seed of clarity, not because it is miraculous, but because it represents a shift in mindset. It is the sign that we stop thinking only about the eyes and begin nourishing the entire connection between the eyes and the brain. It reminds us that we have the power to influence how clearly we perceive everyday life. Introducing chia is only the starting point. The real solution is not about a single ingredient but about creating a lifestyle that strengthens the information highway between your eyes and your nervous system. Let's build a practical plan you can start today. I call this the Clear Vision Protocol. Step 1. The Clear Vision Trio. Chia is the star, but it does not work alone. To make the effect more complete, we combine it with 2 other seeds. Together, they form what I call the Clear Vision Trio. First seed, chia, the foundation of omega-3s and fiber. You already know it. It provides ALA, blood sugar balancing fiber, and cellular hydration. Many times, dry eye, a very common cause of blurry vision, Improves with proper hydration and healthy fats. Recommended dose, 1 to 2 tablespoons per day. Second seed, flaxseed, preferably ground. Another excellent source of ALA. But its real power lies in lignans, highly concentrated antioxidants that help fight persistent inflammation. Keep in mind, flaxseed must be ground. Whole seeds pass through the digestive system without releasing their nutrients. Dose, 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed daily. Third seed, unsalted sunflower seeds. They are rich in vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant. Since the membranes of your neurons and retinal cells are made of fat, thanks to omega-3s, vitamin E settles there and protects them like a personal bodyguard for each cell. Dose, a small handful about 30 grams a day. How to use the trio? It is extremely versatile. At breakfast, mix chia and flaxseed into yogurt, oatmeal, or your favorite smoothie. Add sunflower seeds on top for crunch. You can also sprinkle these 3 seeds over salads for extra texture, flavor, and nutrients. Chia pudding is another great option. Mix 2 tablespoons of chia with half a cup of your preferred milk and let it sit in the refrigerator for a few hours. That's it, a nutritious dessert. Step 2. Bring color to your plate, Mediterranean style, for your brain. Seeds are a fantastic addition, but your foundation must be a strong diet. And scientific evidence is very consistent. The Mediterranean diet is the winner when it comes to eye and brain health. In fact, several reputable studies suggest it could reduce the risk of developing advanced macular degeneration by up to 41%. How do you translate this into daily life? Eat a variety of colors. Prioritize dark green leafy vegetables like spinach or kale, rich in lutein and zeaxanthin. Add peppers, carrots, broccoli, and blueberries. Each color brings a different antioxidant profile. Fatty fish equals a happy brain. To give your brain the DHA it desperately needs, incorporate fatty fish like salmon or sardines. They provide a direct source of this essential nutrient. Aim for twice a week. If you don't eat fish, consider an algae-based omega-3 supplement. Healthy fats as your base. Use extra virgin olive oil. Include nuts like walnuts and almonds. Reduce what causes damage. Limit processed meats, high-fat dairy, refined flours like white bread or pastries, and fried foods, as they promote inflammation. Step 3. Beyond food, the pillars of lifestyle. Your brain health depends directly on your daily habits. Hydration. The brain is 75% water. Mild dehydration already affects your vision and concentration. Drink enough water throughout the day. Restful sleep. Nighttime sleep is when your brain detoxifies. This is when toxins are cleared out. Prioritize 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. It is essential. Movement. Physical activity increases blood flow to the brain, providing more oxygen and nutrients. It also boosts the release of a wonderful molecule called BDNF, which works like fertilizer for neurons. A 30-minute daily walk is enough. Visual breaks. We spend hours looking at screens. Follow the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. This helps relax your eyes and your brain. And now, an essential warning. I need to be very clear. This protocol is a powerful long-term strategy to optimize your visual and brain health. But everything I have shared does not replace medical evaluation. If you ever experience sudden blurry vision, sudden loss of vision in one eye, flashes of light, or blurry vision accompanied by headache or dizziness, you must seek professional help immediately. These may be signs of something serious, such as retinal detachment or even a cerebrovascular event requiring urgent attention. What I explained today is meant for persistent, annoying, everyday blurry vision that is not due to a medical emergency. This content is for optimizing your system, not managing an acute condition. Be responsible with your health and listen to your body. And now comes the most important question. What will you do with this information? Knowledge means nothing without action. I want to invite you to commit to yourself today. Maybe your first step will be preparing the seed trio, adding a salad to your dinner tonight, or simply standing up right now and walking for 15 minutes to activate your circulation. Tell me in the comments what your first step will be within the Clear Vision protocol. Reading what others choose often gives us the motivation to stay consistent. Share your experience as well. Did you identify with anything we discussed? Opening these conversations helps ensure no one feels alone in this process. And if this information gave you a new perspective, the best way to support this channel is by liking the video so it can reach more people who need it. And of course, subscribe and turn on notifications. New, science-based videos are uploaded here every day, always explained in a simple and accessible way. Throughout this journey, we went from the frustration of struggling to focus on a word to understanding the incredible complexity of the brain. We uncovered what may be behind many cases of blurry vision, a fatigued, undernourished brain. You learned that you do not see only with your eyes but with your brain, that the retina is an extension of your nervous system, and both need the same care. I showed you the power of chia seeds and the clear vision trio as the first step to nourish this delicate connection. And we built a complete plan that goes far beyond seeds, including an anti-inflammatory diet and daily habits that strengthen your nervous system. Remember the image we shared. Your eyes are the camera, but your brain is the editor. For too long, we focused only on cleaning the lens without realizing that the editor was exhausted and unsupported. Today, that changes. Now you have the knowledge and tools to begin caring for that editor, giving it clean energy, solid materials, and the rest it needs to rebuild the masterpiece that is your vision. Do not see blurry vision as an inevitable fate. It is a message, an invitation from your body to look deeper, to care not only for your eyes but for the most extraordinary organ you have, your brain. Let me leave you with something even more important: gratitude. Be grateful for your life, your body, and the opportunity to learn how to take better care of yourself. I always tell my patients that gratitude creates a space of awareness and calm that also acts as medicine. I am Dr. Gabriel Mina, and my greatest wish is for you to live each day with more health, more energy, and clearer vision. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Here we share new videos every day with tools to transform your well-being. Thank you for being here. See you in the next video.